Hey guys, welcome to the pod, the Pea Pod. I'm Peas, and I've got a full ladle of peas just for you. So let's get to it. Yep, still sick. Ladle is still sick. If you guys weren't here on Monday, Ladle is sick, and I am a little ill as well, so I apologize for any sniffs or coughs that you guys hear, like that one. So today, for our little worship music Wednesday side note, I have got my song of the week, and then I've got some fun things I want to talk about in terms of music production and how that's changed over the years. But first, my song of the week is called Proud by Cody Johnson. I have talked about Cody Johnson before on the Pea Pod before, but this song particularly I've just listened to. To be honest with you guys, I've been listening to the audiobook of The Lord of the Rings recently, and so that's kind of what I've been listening to most of the time. And so this song is just like the closest second to the most music I've been listening to. Let's see. I should probably play just the chorus for you guys here. Here we go. Wait, no. Maybe I did do Proud. I don't know. If I've done this before, I'm sorry, guys. It's a good song. I'm a little ill. I don't really know what I'm doing. Here we go. Anyway, I'm in a relationship, by the way, if you guys didn't know that, and so I relate to that a lot. I'm not quite married yet, but that is a song that I relate to. Cody Johnson writes a lot of songs that I relate to because, I don't know, and his just harmonies are great, and just they're so catchy, and I don't know, I love Cody Johnson's music, like, a lot. And so if you guys ever see me on campus or something, I'm probably listening to Cody Johnson. Anyway, I'm going to play. No, I'm going to play. I'm going to show you guys some. I brought some props. If you guys were here on Monday, I mentioned that. So what I want to talk about is just how interesting it is to see how music has changed over the years, and I mean that like more physically. If you guys remember. Well, I guess you don't remember, but way back when, music and recording of music really started with the phonograph. I should have done some more research about that. But the phonograph, I don't even really know how the phonograph works. But phonograph works. I'm going to look it up real quick while I talk. Okay, so I guess it works very similar as like the vinyl, which I'll get to in a second. But phonograph started out, I think, what is it, Thomas Edison, I think, who started the phonograph. And so that's where sound really started. But how did it get from there to like the digital music, like what I just played into the microphone from my phone? How did we get to that point? Well, there's a couple of highlights I want to hit, and a lot of it is kind of like the 80s, because I love the 80s. So here's the first iteration that I can think of is vinyl. I've got a couple vinyls for you guys here. These are some of my favorites, but vinyl is, if you guys don't know, if you're too young, looks like this. If you're on YouTube, if you don't know, or I mean, if you're not on YouTube, you're just gonna have to be on YouTube. It's a big old black disc like this, and it's kind of, I guess it'd be hard to see on camera, but you see those like shiny, I don't know, they're grooves, okay? And so I think that vinyl is magic. I think that anything that's not digital is utter magic. I don't know how it all works. I should do some research and figure that out. I've looked it up before, but it's just like, what this is it's a piece of vinyl, literally. And what I'm pretty sure what happens is that they take they record a song, let's say, and they make a groove of that song based on like the recording of it, and they make the vinyl hot. Actually, I think it almost like a liquid form, almost, but just very hot. They press the grooves of that song that they made into a disc. They press that into this vinyl, and it makes, the grooves in the vinyl. And then they figured out somehow that a small pin, a needle, that if you drag it across these grooves, it will play the music from the vinyl, and it will come out your speaker, right? And so if you got a record player, that's how this stuff works. And at least to my knowledge, I don't understand how or why. Totally, it's just totally magic to me. I mean, honestly, but I love old style types of music and the way they record it and things like that. This right here, what I have is a really cool little two-sided vinyl. One side is the New York Philharmonic, directed by Leonard Bernstein. They are playing the Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker Suite, which is, you guys have all heard that music before. That's on this side here. And then the second side is the New York Philharmonic, which is directed by Leonard Bernstein. It's kind of like a, twofer deal. But this is Peter and the Wolf, which is Prokofiev. Maybe given me being Russian, you'd think I know how to say that. I don't. But this is Peter and the Wolf, and Leonard Bernstein actually narrates it, if you guys have ever heard it. It's a great little story that is actually mostly told in song by the different instruments. I think I may have talked about it on the podcast before, maybe not. But that's what this other side of this vinyl is. And so it's pretty cool. I love this one. This is one of my favorites. And then the next one that I brought here is called Boots Randolph's Yakety Sax. Now, it's kind of funny because I'm pretty sure my parents bought this for me for Christmas or something, but the cover is not quite the same as what's on the inside. So I guess it really doesn't matter if you're just listening to it. But this one is a really fun one. It's just some guy playing saxophone. Some of it's got lyrics, some of it doesn't, but it's just really a very pretty music, very fun music. I should just play this for my song of the week. I don't know what I'm thinking. But yeah, so I love that one. And then the last one that I have here is the Back to the Future soundtrack. And if you know that you know who I am, I love Back to the Future. And this, if you guys remember, second season, I talked about, what song was it? Was it the no, it wasn't. It was Heaven is One Step Away. That's by Eric Clapton. Oh, but it's produced by Phil Collins. Interesting. I didn't know that. Maybe I should have looked that up. That's why I couldn't find it. Yeah, so Heaven is One Step Away by Eric Clapton specifically is in the movie, and it's on this vinyl specifically. That's what I was talking about earlier, if you guys listened to season 2. But this kind of represents another, because I've got lots of other vinyl. This is like the movie, because I've got the La La Land soundtrack, I've got Star Wars, so I've got a couple other movie kind of soundtracks. I've got other classical, other pop music stuff. So vinyl, I love vinyl. Now, the second one that I want to mention here is cassettes. Now, cassettes are a lot more of an 80s thing than I think vinyl was. I think vinyl was more of like a 60s, 70s type of thing, but cassettes are very 80s. And I love cassettes because, as you see here on the YouTube, if you're watching, I've got this little 90s stereo recording Walkman, like Sony brand Walkman. It's really fun. A lot of people, kind of like my parents' age, are very surprised that I love this stuff, and I'll get to that in a second. But I have a couple of cassettes here just to show you guys. This one was from my mom's collection. This is Cool Rock Tape 2. It's got a variety of music. I think there's a list here, like Africa by Toto, Private Dancer by Tina Turner. I'm trying to name some ones that more people would know. But yeah, looks like some Mr. on here. Yeah, so just some very cool 80s music, kind of fun little click to it. This one is actually an 80s cassette that I put together because my grandpa had this cassette deck in his house that I used to record off of Spotify, which is really kind of funny that I would use that. But I recorded this to record some of my favorite 80s songs. This one is Joe Satriani, which is one of the best guitarists out there. My dad introduced me to him. This is Surfing with an Alien, one of his more popular albums, but super great music. He's kind of like sings with his guitar, basically. And then this one is Skid Row. I got this one from my birthday. I don't think I'd recommend it. There's some explicit content on here. Don't listen to it. I'm not vetting or I'm not condoning it or anything. There is some that I do like on here that's not super explicit, but very like rock 80s. Anyway, so I love cassettes. Cassettes work in a very similar way where you've got a string of tape, not like sticky tape, but like cassette tape. And what they do is they record it on cassette tape, and I don't know how that works either. I think it's partially magnetic, partially I don't know, because like you could put a cassette in like my car. I drive an '04 Grand Cherokee Jeep, and well, I guess you couldn't do it in my Jeep, but like in older cars, like in the '80s, you could put your blank cassette tape in there, and if you heard a song on the radio you really liked, you could just press record real quick, and it would record it off of the radio straight onto your tape. And I look, I don't know how that works either, man. It blows my mind. It's literally like magic. And so, I know I keep saying that, but it is. And then I believe that the Walkman works sort of like how CDs end up working, where it's got some sort of reader on there. Okay, so this is what I want to mention earlier. My dad specifically will always laugh at me when I talk about cassettes because, like, back in the 80s, cassettes weren't even, like, they were kind of like the main mode of, like, what's the word? Portable music. But they stunk. I mean, they still do, kind of, like if you didn't have a good reader or you didn't have a good way to play it, maybe your cassette deck kind of stunk, or your Walkman was old, or and the tape from in here would get from the middle would kind of get strung out, or something would get twirled over. You'd have to spend probably sometimes hours like reeling it back with a pencil or something and trying to flip it over, and they would get caught in things. And the other thing is tapes wear out. Like, I'll only be able to listen to this Skid Row like a certain amount of times. Like, granted, it is a lot of times, but at some point this is going to die, it's going to break, the tape will get worn out, it won't sound as nice. And so, like, my dad always laughs at me because I love 80s music and I love listening to it in an 80s way. Like, look, I've even got this, like, dollar store looking, like, headset to match the vibe, kind of, And so he always kind of laughs at me because it stinks as, like, an actual audio way to listen to music. It's really unreliable. It breaks, so it's just not great. And so then we've got digital music, right? Those are kind of the three main ways I like to listen to music. There were other ways in there, like CDs, right? CDs are also like magic to me because you've got the CDs are like, they have a scan, like almost like a laser, a scanner that reads the information on the CD, and that's how you get music. Same with DVDs. If you want to listen or watch a movie or anything, it's reads the same way. The reason that, like, digital music doesn't, like, blow my mind is, A, because I've been around it most of my life. But, like, all you do is you go onto the internet, you go on your thing, you click play, and it plays the music, right? And it's not, like, reading necessarily anything. I'm sure that digital music in itself is actually more magic than all this other stuff is. But for me, just, like, to have a cassette tape, read the tape that you've put the music on, or vinyl, like, it just, I don't know why, it blows my mind. I really love 80s stuff. I love old vintage things, and so that's just kind of how it is. But, like, it's just really interesting to see how we've gotten from vinyl to cassette tapes to CDs to digital music. And, I mean, I have to admit this, and Dad, I'm sure I've admitted this to you before, but, like, if I was in the 80s and cassettes were my only type of music, obviously I'd listen to them. But I would also get frustrated with them, too. Like, I listen to cassettes a decent amount, but at some point I do get a little fed up with them, or I just don't want to listen to it anymore, because in reality, digital music is the best we've got right now. I mean, it's much clearer quality, infinite replays. You can slow it down, you can speed it up. You've got different effects that are possible now. Everything has improved. As much as I love the oldness of everything, everything has improved. It's better now. So when I'm talking about this stuff, I tend to convince people to think that, like, oh, I wish it was always like this. I wish everything was like this. Yeah, there are parts of it that I wish we could just bring back to be more normative, but in reality, like, digital music is the way to go. Okay, I'll admit that. Like, but it's just cool to have that kind of option to fall back onto to the cassette player, to the vinyl, because it's just cool to remember what it used to be. And when you get fed up with it, when you get sick of it, when it's annoying, like, you move on to digital music. You go back to what you've got. So, all that to say, music has changed a lot physically, and it's cool to see to see how it's gone. I hope it was fun for you guys to see some of the stuff I brought in with the cassette player and the vinyl and stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, still miss you, Ladle. Hard to do this by myself, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. I don't even know how long we've gone here. 15 minutes. Okay, great. So time to wrap it up. I hope you guys did enjoy this. Sorry if it was a little rambly, but it is tough to do this by myself. But Friday, I'm going to have a guest, so tune in for that. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, but Friday, definitely going to have a guest, and kind of have a little fun Friday there for us to, just chat. But so join us then, and in the meantime, go check out our earlier episodes. Check out Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. We're all over there. We have an Instagram as well. Not super great at, keeping up with that, but check that out as well. Share it with everybody. We really want to get this out because we're talking about Jesus a lot of the time, and we like to share that with the world. So if you want to, share it with as many people as you can. And yeah. So catch us next time when we have another heaping healthy ladle of peas. Bye, guys.